So in this video, I'm going to turn a messy job search into one simple board that Claude Code can help manage. And here, from our last video, I went through how to set up a Kanban board with Obsidian to track your overall task and weekly output. And by the end of this video, you'll hopefully get to some form of this board here using Claude Code to generate most of the cards. So the first thing we're going to do today is we can either go into our terminal app, which is Ghosty, and then run Claude Code here in the same way that we went through it in the last few. And then if I shift back to the first tab using Command 1, I'll now be back in Claude Code. And so the first thing I'm going to ask Claude Code to do here is I'm just going to set up a new board to track my applications. And then the Claude Code can take tasks and basically complete them, do research on them. So I'm going to ask Claude to create an applications Kanban board with inbox, research, draft, submit, pause lanes. And then you'll see Claude Code create a new board that we can now use. And then here, I'm going to prompt another Claude Code, so we'll have it run in parallel, to add a task to our applications Kanban board to find PM roles in Los Angeles, and another task to find ads platform PM roles in SF. So now we'll go into this here, and then you'll see that lanes we have here. And then now I can just trigger off this new agent to this task. And that's just a quick setup so that you can now manually go into the applications. You can add new task, do research on Figma PM role. And then now you have that task. But at the same time, you'll also have Claude Code creating that task. And then search for the PM role in LA. So now that we let this agent cook and create the search, what I'll do first is I'll exit out of this screen right here, close out this window just so it does a full screen. Again, Command Shift D to open up a new terminal window. You can think about that as each one as its own chat. And then while it's searching that, I'll kind of go over this board. You'll see here, originally it was in the inbox. The agent automatically moved it over to the research. And now you'll see the agent moved it over to the draft. So we can click on that now. And then you'll see that they have some descriptions. And so here, I can just click in here, apply, and I can review the work that I have, see any metadata information that it has here as well. So the one thing that always pained me in the past about searching for jobs is when I apply for something and I answer a few questions and I might tailor it to the job that I'm looking for, and then 2 weeks later, I can't remember what I wrote or where I saved it. And so I can't reuse that. So I'm recreating that material every single time. And what you can have any of these agents do is once it finishes this, I can ask it to create a template so that I can document some of these answers. So for example, Claude Code will ask you if you want to save them into a different card, you want to widen that net. You can ask it to write a new MD file that documents a lot of that so that you can remember that and track it And what I actually do for a few projects I have, you can even just tell it to save into the project itself a workflow that you want. So every time you open up Claude Code, it'll just go through your Kanban board and then it'll just run through those tasks. So that on a weekly basis, every Monday, every Friday, you can just triage any tickets that you have, move it to the right category, and then you don't have to remember what you need to do anymore. And so you can just have the agent remember that. And then in this project in Obsidian, you can also make it so that these notes are reusable. Your resume, you can have the resume there, different variations of the resume, common application answers, portfolio links, interview notes. Then Claude Code can reference them directly in these applications. And when you're applying for them, you have all the relevant information that you need. So the workflow is simple, just like one board, as you'll see here, and you'll have one card per role, per search, and one folder where everything gets saved. And then you can basically end up in a board like this where you'll have all the tasks that you need to do. Maybe you don't want to do it all at once. You want to think about it a little more and then kind of bring it over to the research. You start drafting them, submitting them. You can track all of them out, see them all in one place. And at a certain point, you won't actually really need to create any more docs or notes. You can have Claude Code do that all for you. And then that will hopefully simplify all of that within the Ghosty terminal app that we talked about in the original setup video, which I'll link here again. You can set that up and have a lot more functionality without any issues. But here, let's say I'm going to, can you create a MD file of this application and pre-fill it for me so I can store it locally for the future, and then give me the card link so I can view it. So you can ask Claude Code to create the notes and documentations for you. I think that's the one hard thing that when I talk to any of my friends of using AI and Claude Code, you'll still want to do things manually. And then let's go view that application. In here, you'll see that we'll have either that full research document that's in our board that our other agent did, and then we'll have this one right here. So then you can actually click on this link, apply, or the job URL, just look at the full job description and then any other tags that you want for it. And over time too, as you add more of this in, capture more of your documentation, one thing that I've always found difficult to do with using Obsidian was manually tagging everything and then linking them all together so that you can use it in a graph view. And now with AI, you can do that easier than ever. That is the end of the video. And if you have any questions, drop it in the comments. I'll try to get to every single question. And let me know if there's any other video content that will be interesting to you.